So I just wanted to give you a quick little video about how to do some of the stuff on these slideshows. I believe the A3 slideshow we may have already talked about, but I may be mistaken. But that'll be in Google Classroom. And on the first slide of here, it's talking about using these things, expression mats. What's an expression mat, as I believe we discussed, looks like this, and it's kind of like a regular algebra tile mat that we've been using, just kind of a blank space, except it's assigned values to each half. So this top half is positive, bottom half is negative. So throughout this, it's going to ask you to represent things using different representations. The way that I'm able to do that is based on these positive and negative signs. So if you look over here, it gives you a little key, and it says, okay, the darker ones are positive and the light ones are negative. So for example, if I am representing negative 2x using an expression mat, the two different ways that I can do that, one way is I can make my X tiles in the negative section and darken them in, because those are technically positive tiles, but this negative turns them negative. Or another representation, I can throw them in the top, not shaded in, because our key tells us that that means it's negative. And because there's a positive sign there, nothing happens to that sign. It just stays put. So if I go to, on the second slide, this is the slide where you might have a little bit more trouble on. It's asking you to find two different representations for these different expressions. So for example, in A, they're asking me to find a way to represent negative 3x plus 4. So a way that I could do that, I could throw 3 positive tiles in the negative side, because even though they're positive, that negative sign makes them negative. And then I can throw, let's see, I'll throw 4 positive tiles up here. So that technically, again, is saying negative 3x from here plus 4 from here. So you can do that for all of these. Something that I want to point out for ones like this, where I've got that negative sign hanging out outside the parentheses. Some of you might know what that means, but a way that you can think of it in terms of modeling with algebra tiles, think of that negative sign as kind of a guide of where you want to place all of the tiles inside the parentheses. So if they're telling me that this is a negative parenthesis y minus 2, I'm going to use that as a guide saying, okay, I got to build this thing down here, and I'll build it with a positive y and 2 negative 2 tiles. Okay, if you have any questions about that, Ms. Troy, I'm sure we'll be able to answer those. I want to take a look at, maybe if you want to pause the video there, or stop the video there and do slideshow A3, that'd be a good idea, because now I'm going to explain a couple things about A4. So in the beginning of A4, or I believe this might be, I think this is the second page of A4, they're talking about representing 0 with expression tiles, or with algebra tiles on an expression mat. Now, I'm not going to exactly give you the answer, but remember, this whole thing represents an expression. So I'm kind of adding or subtracting everything together to figure out what it represents. So if I were to put a positive x tile in this positive side, what else would I have to add to this specific expression mat to cancel that out and to make its entire value 0? That's kind of what a bunch of this slideshow has to do with. So talk about that idea with the people around you, and ask Ms. Troy, because she will help as well. And I think this should go pretty well for you guys.